Hello and welcome to New Gameplay Today. I am your host, Alex Stadnik, and I am joined by two of the best in the video game industry. Jill Grote is here. Hello, Jill.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I am happy to hear it. And of course, the one and only, Dan Tack. Hello, sir.
Hello. Today we will find redemption in the most tenebrous places.
Tenebrous? What did you say?
Tenebrous!
Oh, I was like, what? Was that even a word?
Oh, we got all the kinds of words. You know why? Because we're playing Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah, early access, correct?
Yeah, this is early access. Only on PC for now, but if, the original is on everything at this point. So as this game goes through early access and finally launches, a long time from now, I'm sure it'll find its way to other platforms.
Okay, so this is, like you said, this is early access. What kind of chunk of a game is this? Like, can you only play the first 8 hours? Like, is
That's
it
a good question.
than that? Okay.
I mean, I haven't gotten to the point where it's like, hey, you can't play anymore. But it's a roguelike, so I'll eventually get there. You'll see here at the beginning some indications of your confession here. There's notably, 4 other spots there, so there's probably other ways to begin the game even.
Ooh.
That haven't been discovered. Lots to discover, as always, with the curiosity as we delve into not dungeons, but the road.
Whoa. Like the McCormick novel?
They are both sort of apocalyptic scenarios, but
yeah,
not quite the same.
So I'm seeing a character select screen here.
Yes.
How does it talk to me like I don't know anything about this game? What is the concept? What's the structure of this?
Yeah, no problem. So what we're doing here is we're forming a party to do a run. It's that simple. Unlike the original game where you had to manage tons and tons of people, in your town at all times. Some would be take on a mission, others you wouldn't. This is it. Who you take here is who you're gonna get. This is your crew for the entire mission. Now, as you gain levels, which with this permanent resource, meta resource called Hope, you'll unlock more characters that you can take into your groups. But right now, this is pretty much the core group, and of course, more characters are going to be added over the course of early access on the way to release. But right now, you can see we've got like what, 9 or 10 to pick from, something like that. And to put into our group, you're going to want to slot them in where they're best, where they best serve their purpose in positioning. Positioning is very important in this game.
Very important.
Okay, gotcha. Is now Jill? You are also you've put some hours into this, correct?
I put some hours into this. I've had some people die. I've had some heartbreaks. I've had some cursing. It's all over the place.
So when a team member here dies, is that it for them?
So the
That's
really
it.
cool thing about this one versus the original Darkest Dungeon is, yes, your person dies, and you don't get to have them for the rest of the run. But when you completely finish, either all of your people die or you've accomplished your goal, you start the run back from the beginning that you just saw, and then all your characters are back and you can click on them. So it's not, in the first game, if someone died, they were permanently gone forever, always. You could never have them again. In this one, you get a chance to come back and say, okay, they're not totally dead, I can put them in my party. So that's nice.
Okay.
I mean,
Cool.
they kind of do totally. I mean, they have to be built from scratch. Like a run
Yeah.
in this is a permadeath game, so essentially. But you have unlimited of all the character classes you have unlocked, essentially.
Okay. So the avatar is still there. So
You're exactly.
Yeah.
And you may unlock some permanent meta progressions things for them, like new options or skills as you go through the game.
Right.
Mhm.
That's something you'll find as you delve into their characters' backstory. All of them have terrible backstories. They all did awful things. As you may know, if you followed the first game, you already know like what kind of awful thing. They're all horrible sinners here, searching for redemption, essentially. As they were originally, right? These are not like, this is not a superhero band. These people did some really awful things and are grinding their way back to humanity, essentially.
Okay. Catholic school simulator.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
one
farthest
of them,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so you may have touched on it earlier here, Tack, but I am of the school of thought that I am liking more modern takes on roguelites that allow me to, whilst go on runs and try and fail and then succeed. I also really like the Hades approach where you can take stuff with you and have that permanent form of progression alongside of it. Like what's there for me in this game, or is it not that kind of RPG?
Yeah, so this definitely doesn't go all the way Hades style, where you'll just eventually win no matter what.
Yeah.
This is going to what I've unlocked so far are like new characters, new options, new skills, new items, all kinds of new things. But you don't just get them, right? You're not actually. Those are it's sort of like the old school of roguelike design, where these things can show up in a run now because you've unlocked them.
Oh, I see.
So you're getting more tools in your toolkit, perhaps, but it's not as structured of a power gain as you would see in Hades or something, where it's just like, hey, give my characters X HP or something like that. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
And maybe that'll change over the course of the game as I get farther and farther. Maybe there will be explicit power gains, but so far, no, just more options.
Okay.
And I would not expect this game to ever be. I love Hades to death, but this game is one of the whole this game will kill you, right? It's Darkest Dungeon.
A lot.
Yeah. And
it's never gonna play nice, and that's sort of. I mean, that's honestly one of the hooks of it. The hooks of the first game and this game, right? It's the odds are against you, and it's gonna require both skill and maybe a little bit of luck to get through.
Okay. Well, and I think that's the beauty. I mean, like we've seen in all genres, right? There's Valorant and CS:GO for hardcore shooter fans, and there's something like a little like tamer like Fortnite, right? You know, this genre is starting to grow and has those varying levels of difficulty, and I'm okay with that. I'm here for that.
I mean, yeah, and as you play, I'm guessing that many of the unlocks you start to get as we tier higher and higher will be substantially more powerful than the boons and buffs that are available currently at the beginning of the game. That would make sense. So
yeah,
do not despair completely, just a little bit.
Yeah, don't abandon all hope, ye.
Exactly, because we have the last hope. Here's our cart. Here's a cool mechanic in this game. We get to trick out my ride. I don't have anything to do that with really here, except for a storage container, but there's all kinds of stuff you can put on there. There's also a pet slot, which I haven't figured out what that does, and a trophy slot. Yeah,
that's going to be fun.
Those might be permanent. I don't know, but those are going to be cool. So here's where we pick our route. And as you notice, I'm completely stupid in this one. I'm just loading the game, and I go to the farms, the polluted farms, where all of the nobles and farmhands just started eating each other.
Oh, no.
For the apocalypse. The issue here is I have a couple characters in this group that use poison attacks, essentially. And everything in this place is poison resistant. So picking this path was not a good play. But I'm just here to show you a little bit of something. In fact, after I came to that horrifying realization immediately after I loaded in, I was like, well, let's just go to the lair, which is sort of a boss area, optional. Depends how your map is situated, actually. You might have to run into it based on your stuff, but
okay.
I see high risk and reward. I click. I'm a simple man. The lairs are interesting. They contain the area bosses, so you may not have to fight an area boss in this game. Whereas Darkest Dungeon 1, you had to fight the bosses of each dungeon to get through them. You do not have to do that here. But the trinkets and baubles that these bosses can supply you with are incredibly powerful.
Okay.
But you'll have to get to 2 fights and then the boss fight in order to survive, and it's a grueling, as you'll see here as we explore the Harvest House.
Ooh, icky. This is perfect for Halloween season, though.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of different biomes. This one full of like plagued, twisted humans who began eating each other and the livestock and the ground itself, just anything.
Ooh.
The gluttony is the name of the game here, and pestilent gluttony. This is a very cheery game. Take this one home for the holidays, kids.
I think this one is maybe one of the visually more gross ones, just because everyone's got like tumors and they're overgrown and pestily, and it's no bueno. I'm gonna say.
No bueno.
You know what? We'll talk about what is bueno. These animations are
so good.
I can't even. I just sit here and like look at the screen and drooling at them. Okay.
I hope you're not drooling over whatever these monstrosities are. Over
I
here.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I think too. It feels a lot. Even though a lot of the look of the attacks are fairly similar, it just for some reason it feels like crunchier and realer, and then you see them react afterwards, and they're still kind of like eating parts of you, and it's just it's an experience.
Yeah. was like just the style. Like they were already amazing in the original, but like now when they're fully animated and 3D, I mean, I just love some of the effects. Like when the grave robber throws her absinthe bottle after she drinks it, she just gulps it down, or just flings it behind her, and you hear it shatter. It's like, oh, it's just the little things, like Chef's Kiss, all over the place.
Right. And no, a lot of people were worried about that transition from the 2D to 3D space, but I think they've really used it. Like they've kept everything that was great about the 2D visuals and just really upped their game with the 3D.
I love it. Yeah, this is very distinct style, and not many games look like this in a good way, right? This is I don't know a ton about this series, but this is very striking. So
Well, after today, you will.
I am
welcome, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you into this series. Let me tell you.
All right, let's do it.
Right now, we're like trying to tackle these stupid little gravestones. They get in the way of your positioning. As I said, positioning is very important. But go on, Alex. Let me stop you.
So for those who don't know, what is the significance of positioning here? It's obviously limiting some of your attacks, but like, is that the name of the game here?
That is. Everybody has different moves that they can only use from certain slots that can only hit certain slots. So you might have a move that's in slot 1 that can hit the opposing slot 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've got somebody that can only cast a heal in slot or a buff in slot 4. Positioning is very important, and some enemies will try to, rearrange your line to screw you up and break up your strategy. Or you can mess with your own line too. Mm-hmm. Some of the moves contain positional movement, so if the enemy screws it up, you can use those to get back into place.
Oh, interesting.
Or you can also try to break up enemy lines by moving their characters around to screw up their attacks.
Yeah. Okay.
Something really nice that I noticed about the gameplay on this particular one is it's not quite as unbalanced. So a lot of characters are very good in the front positions or very good in the back positions. But if you do get totally screwed up and someone gets slotted all the way in the back, usually there is some sort of way either to get back into place or to have a ranged attack, so you don't have a character that's completely useless until probably I mess that up and make my own attacks so that they're less balanced.
Okay, interesting.
Now you can see here the second fight is a little bit more ostentatious than the first.
Yes, quite. Yeah.
Gross.
I think I saw her gown on GQ recently. I saw something earlier on when you finished the last battle. It said advance or escape, and you chose advance because that's what Tack does.
Well, for this video,
yeah,
it's not always the right decision.
What is when you hit escape though? What is the other thing that happens?
So I would have taken the loot from that first fight and left.
Okay.
With these multifaceted tiered fights, you have an option to leave between them depending.
So
there is no escaping in battle though. So once we're in a fight,
you're in it.
That's it. It's ride or die.
If you were to have hit escape, does that end your run and do you go back to like?
No. I would be back on the cart where we were with the loot from that first battle in hand.
Okay.
But obviously the desire is to push a lair as far as you can to get some of those epic trinkets and stuff that can drop from the boss.
Yeah.
Right, because trinkets are going to be really good. You can equip them to your characters. They'll give you buffs like your speed or your damage or resistance to horrible, terrible things that these people are doing to you. And money in this one is particularly interesting because there are situations where my characters have all been sort of dying, and I've been trying to avoid fighting just to get to the inn where you can kind of rest. But then you don't have money to de-stress them or to heal them. So it is a really interesting balance to sort of play with whether or not you want to risk killing someone or having them stress totally out, or risk not being able to heal them or de-stress them when you get to a resting place.
So when you say de-stress them, obviously we all need a little de-stressing in life. Like, what is that from a gameplay perspective? If they go into it stressed, like what debuffs are there for that?
So you can see sort of the first character and second character here. Oh, she's just had a meltdown. She's totally stressed. Her relationships have all gone down. Her health has dramatically dropped. And relationships are really interesting. You can see that blue is growing. That's bad. You don't want blue in your relationships. relationships in this game have become a very important part. You sort of connect with your team, and if you're in a good relationship with them, you might help them with their attack and do extra damage. You might heal them, or if you're in a bad relationship, you might keep them from doing certain attacks. You might stress them out by saying, oh, that wasn't as great, are you really doing all you should be doing? So and the higher your stress level gets, which is these little white dots below a character, the more likely you are to be sort of hurting your team rather than helping your team. So instead of just I'll attack and do really well, you might have someone telling you you can't do it and not, be at your best. So it is a really interesting thing with Darkest Dungeon that you always are equally interested in how they're doing mentally as how they're doing physically.
Interesting. This game sounds incredibly stressful.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way, trust
For
me.
sure. Yeah. It seems like it would elicit the same highs of some of the more challenging games we have in the industry. I'm not going to say which
Alex.
ones. Yeah.
Don't say it.
I would never say it, but it does seem like it's that kind of thing where it's like this is purposefully hard, but those rewards are going to be that much better when you finally conquer whatever's
it has stakes, it's you build something with stakes so that there's something to lose at any given point, right? Like, so this was a high risk, high reward encounter right here. This is a horrible creature, as you can see, with the Harvest Child and a couple of stumps of meat. I had no idea how this encounter played. I obviously learned how during the encounter, but let me tell you a little bit about the Harvest Child. A lot of I don't know about the rest of the bosses in this game, but a lot of bosses in the original game and this one have gimmicks that you kind of need to work around, and that can have to do with positioning or abilities or all kinds of different things.
Okay.
So this disgusting Harvest Child is going to spit up stuff on my characters, obviously, right? But it's going to make them hunger for the meat.
Oh no.
And they will lose their turns chowing down on the meat instead of attacking the boss while the boss does other horrible activities.
Horrendous things, yeah. Interesting, okay. So is the strat here to get rid of the meat first so there's no distraction?
It is. It's actually managing attacks between the meat and the boss, because as you'll see, as the sapid drippings start this tantal, look at this. So they're gonna get these hunger counters, like Dismas, the highwayman has it right now. Now they have it.
I see.
They'll either try to move toward the food or eat the food, and you can see they're quite vocal about it. And they lose their abilities, and they get this feed the hunger move.
Oh.
And they get very hungry. They must eat the meat.
Ick. No, thank you.
Yeah, well, we're not in a really great situation here.
True.
If you find yourself in the harvest house facing the the child of the harvest or whatever, you got big problems. Like way and above eating a piece of crappy meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have missed it at the beginning of this video. What the hell happened in this world?
And we went to the lair like immediately. Well, storyline hasn't really evolved explicitly yet. It will. But essentially the entire world has turned on itself in an apocalyptic scenario from an ancient evil on high of the mountain. We're in the farmlands. As I said, the farmers feasted upon everything in sight and became these pestilent gluttons. But in other areas, a cult of anarchy destroyed the big cities with fire. That's the theme of another one. And then there's another place where everybody just kind of gave up, I think. I haven't seen that one yet.
God. Yeah.
And I've also found some other interesting areas to explore as well that call back to the original Darkest Dungeon. There's a Warrens that you can go into that has the pigmen, Jerry.
Nah.
From the original game down there. That's a deep
incredible.
cut, all right?
Yeah.
We like those here on the show. That's what you come here for.
Big fan. Okay, so do you have to? I'm sure we all get sick of this question, but do you have to play the first one to appreciate what's going on here?
You do not. It is self-contained. You will definitely have an edge up by understanding already at the base level the combat mechanics and such, but there is no need to play the first one to dive into this one at all. I've been asked that one a lot today, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
It is a good question. I like it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this seems like it's, Tack, you especially too, like, you know, you are not, how am I trying to say this? You're not particular about your games, but like when you come to me and you're like, Alex, I got a game. We got to do an NGT on this. Like I perk up because usually that is a good indicator of the quality of the game. So
Yeah, I like to think that I have good taste. So do you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Jill does too. We're all a big
Cute.
happy family here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I was immediately smitten by this game under the gibbous moon or whatever you say. You know, hey, the
What
Wayne
are the
June,
kids saying these days?
getting Wayne June back as the narrator and all this other stuff, just like they nailed everything, right? I mean, obviously, I'm sure that the gameplay will have to get tightened up on level 3 as they go through this long early access period. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean actually level 3. Okay, that's another callback. All right, lots of deep cuts here. All right, there's a commercial. Anyway.
Yeah. You're on
yeah.
one today, Tack, and I appreciate that about you.
Hey, visually and artistically, I could not really. I'm amazed. I'm
Yeah.
literally amazed. Okay, like I made a tweet about it. I never tweet about games.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, you don't work in the industry.
I never. And I was just like, I can't really believe it. I can't believe what I was seeing. Like this. It just looks and sounds incredible. Like they nailed every part of it in those respects. The artistry is incredible, and I'm sure whatever gameplay elements need a little bit of tuning, we'll get there. They're excellent with that too. Nothing but
Good.
faith in this team.
Good.
Like, I think this proves, you know, this wasn't just a one-time deal. And not only did they capture the magic, they decided not to do the easy route and just make it again, right, with a 2 on it.
Mhm.
And this is a completely new thing. Although, as you can still see, still very rooted in the grotesque and the gothic concepts that made the first one really special.
Yeah, and Jill, I know you don't usually like early access titles, but this seems to be doing it for you.
Oh my
right?
gosh, it's so, yeah, I did recently sort of muse on the problems that I usually have with early access games, and I was like, despite how much I love this series, I was going back and forth whether or not I wanted to play it in early access, just because I tend to play a game in early access and then never get back to it.
Mhm.
But this is so good. If you have the chance, it's on Epic for early access. You should check it out. I think it's just going to be, because of this roguelike structure, you've just got run after run after run. It's just going to be, once it releases, it'll be just another run instead of, oh, I didn't finish all the game and now I feel like I have to get through, you know, however many hours of content to remind myself how it works. No, this is going to be like one run is basically, I think they said about 5 hours.
Oh wow.
It's
At most?
3 to 5 hours to complete a run from start to finish.
Yeah.
I believe was the ballpark that they were going with before. And obviously a lot of the stuff is, like, you know, subject to change, but yeah, that seems about right. Because you have to, like, go into these delves to get the gear to keep going. And obviously the ending isn't in now and everything, and they talked to me, you know, way before this, that, you know, people are like, what are we going to do after we beat it, you know? Because eventually you will get through, right? Right? The stars will align, and you'll beat the ultimate evil under the waning moon or something, right? But
Yeah.
at that point, I think they said they were going to try to, like, explore traditional, like, roguelike modifiers and stuff, mutators or whatever you would have you, so that you could add new elements to runs and really, you know, make things pretty wild. You know,
Wilder than they are currently. Yeah.
yeah, I know, right? The brain reels at the thought.
So quickly, I see you have 2 headstones at this point, right?
Yeah,
But
they're dead.
They have health, but they still have health bars under them, or is that just like?
Yeah, the gravestones stay until they do go away eventually as they break, but yeah, they're dead. They cannot come back. There's no res or anything like that.
Got it.
It's for positioning again, and you know, so the enemy might still target a grave, just as we have to.
Like when you get into this position and your gravestones disappear, it can get really hard, especially if you have 2 characters that are really good in the back, but not so great in the front. So if these 2 disappear and both of those move forward, now you're missing the chance to use like 3 of your abilities because you're no longer in the back. So it can be a really difficult thing when you start It's like a cascading effect. Once things start to go bad, they go downhill very quickly.
Well, I was just about to say, I've seen how this video ends, and I'm still not convinced you beat this boss here.
No,
Things
It's-
are looking bad.
I think I played it right.
Were you sweating a little bit while while you're capturing this?
No, I figured it was gonna make a good video either way.
There you go. Yeah.
And the nice thing too is like even if all of them die here and you restart the run, you know, you still have gained a few things and there you don't totally start over again. So
Yeah.
you get to have that hope, which will upgrade your profile level and then hopefully unlock new characters that you can check out or new buffs or whatever.
Okay, interesting. I would tell the witch doctor here, just like lay off me for 2 seconds. I know you like my beak. Like, let's kill the weird baby monster before we get envious.
Hey, look at this. I mean, this is the textbook Darkest Dungeon fight here.
Yeah.
Everybody's at their wits' end. There's nobody has any health. Everybody's death dooring, and now the enemies get death's door. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically when you're at 0 health, you have a chance to survive the next attack, right? Like it's not. And there he goes. Boom.
Wow, look at that. Dan Tack, pro gamer. I think that was a fantastic look at this and definitely an exciting one. So, Dan, Jill, thank you so much for joining us. This is available on Epic Game Store as of tomorrow, correct? Of this recording?
That is correct.
Yes.
PC exclusive for now, right?
You got it.
All right. Well, viewers, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.